My name is Lol. I come from Teesside in the northeast of England. My mental health journey started when I was a small boy of around 7, when my father experienced psychosis. The first memories of my father's psychosis was when he was in hospital. Sometimes it wasn't really explained fully as to where he was. And there was one particular incident that stands out more than any other. I used to help him at the local school, and my dad had been taken into hospital a few days before. And this lady started questioning me about, where's your dad and what's wrong with him. And I remember at the time thinking, why is she so insistent on finding out what the problem is? That particular incident that stands out more than any other, as far as trying to work out what stigma is and how it affects people. My own mental health, I know for years I would mask a lot of the stress at work. Being from the northeast, there's a culture of men are not really encouraged to express themselves, share their emotions, because they saw it as a sign of weakness. But it was my real breakdown occurred in 2004. When I was a manager of quite a busy community mental health team. I experienced stigma within my workplace when I went to see my GP. The GP asked if I wanted depression on my sick note as a reason for being on sick leave. And I remember at the time thinking, well, if I had a broken arm or broken leg, would you ask me the same thing? And then another colleague also, just in casual conversation, she said, you know what it's like, Lol, it's sort of the nature of the beast, it goes with the territory, which is sort of like inferring that you've got to cope with it, regardless of how difficult it is. It goes with the territory, therefore you have to deal with it. It feels quite amazing, really, that in all those years, stigma was still having an impact. From when I was 7 or 8, the situation with my father, to when I was, now at this point, I was 34, 35, and still feeling reluctant to be open about my struggle with people. And that seed of stigma still sitting there at the back of my brain. I'd suppress it to the back of my brain, thinking that I'd dealt with it really, but clearly I hadn't. Stigma affects people greatly with mental illness. I've heard that from the person themselves have said sometimes the stigma is actually worse than the illness itself. It's difficult enough when you're living day by day with a mental illness, especially a severe enduring mental illness, but then to add on top of that the stigma, the way people treat them, the way people speak to them, makes it obviously much, much worse.